if you are doing a Caldwell, don't just blurt out the answer here, I want you guys to raise your hand. If you're doing a Caldwell, normal Caldwell, 15 degrees, and your Petrus ridges are filling the orbits, who can tell me one of the two causes and how you'd correct that? Carrie.
You have too much extension.
Flexion. Alright. So, let's go over that part. So, Petrus ridges.
If you tilt them up, they're going to be in the orbits.
Yeah.
Why don't you let the teacher tell me?
So, here's your ridges, right? They're at the same level as the orbits. So, if I'm in just a normal position like this, fill the orbits. Where I want them is the lower third. In order to do that, I extend my chin up, and it brings them down. If I flex my chin down more, it brings them even further out.
So we have too much flexion, meaning we're down too far.
Yeah, so if they're filling orbits, if you're doing a 15-degree Caldwell and they're still filling the orbits, that means A, you didn't have enough extension, so, or, that's the other one, not enough angle, exactly. So, if you guys here, your orbits are going to be right up against the image receptor, Petrus ridges are back here. We want an angle so our ridges are going down into them. If we don't have enough angle, they're still going to be filling the orbits. So, Caldwell, you're doing them. Petrus ridges are still filling the orbits. Well, there's one of two causes. Either A, you had too much flexion, which means you have to extend the chin more, or B, you did not have enough angulation, which means you need to change your angle. Okay. All right. Let's say you're evaluating a finished lateral radiograph, and you notice that one orbital plate is laying superior to another. What did you do wrong?
Tilt.
Tilt, yes. So you would fix that by ensuring that your patient didn't have tilt.
So if one orbital plate superior to
If
another.
one orbital plate was superior to another on a lateral radiograph, that would mean that you have tilt going on. All right, let's say you're doing an SMV, and the condyles of the mandible are superimposing the Petrus ridges. What did you do wrong on that?
Not enough extension.
Not enough extension of the head. Remember, if you have proper extension, this is in the purple boxes. I can't really show you this one real good on me because I cut my head off. These are in the purple boxes. If you have enough extension, the condyles of your mandible will be anterior from your Petrus ridges. If you don't, they're going to be superimposed. That's on an SMV.
Say that again?
It was SMV.
So SMV shot, no matter what we're talking about, if it's sinuses, anything. If you have proper extension, the condyles of your mandible are going to be anterior to your Petrus ridges. If you don't have enough extension, the condyles of the mandible are going to be superimposing the Petrus ridges.
They're going to be above, anterior.
It's going to be anterior. That's how you're going to see it worded. Now, when you look at your image, yes,
It's going to look
it'd be above.
superior.
This would be your condyles. Here's your ridges. So it'd
That's
be,
proper.
So it'd be
it'd be
superior.
above there when you're looking at it superiorly, but
When you
technically
think of how
about
the
what's
skull
anterior.
is, it's going to be anterior.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it's going to be
Think
worded.
about it
Anterior.
anatomical position.
Yes, it's going to be anterior to your ridges, even though when you look at your radiograph, it looks like it's above there. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Okay. Let's say a patient came in for demonstration of the orbital floors. The PA Caldwell 30-degree angle was performed, and the ridges are below the orbits. What did they do wrong?
Nothing.
Nothing. Very good. You caught me on that one. Yes. You're doing a PA 30-degree Caldwell. Where should the ridges be? Below the orbits, so we can see the orbital floors, or specifically all of the orbits, anything involving the orbits. So good job on that one. I didn't trick you. Okay. All right, you're doing a lateral cranium, lateral skull. You have the mandibular tip the vertex of the skull, the occipital bone, but you clip the frontal bone. How can you change that to get all of that? Okay, crosswise.
Open up the collimation?
Let me give you your choices. So you've clipped,
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say,
you've clipped the frontal bone, you've got the mandibular base, you've got the vertex of the skull, you've got the occipital bone. Would you center more posteriorly, more anteriorly, more superiorly, or more inferiorly?
Anteriorly.
Anteriorly.
Anterior.
Yes.
I thought it was like easier than.
Probably, that's why I had to give you the choices, because you guys were on the right track. It was just, that wasn't the choice I was looking for. Alright, let's say you do a lateral radiograph of the skull. You did it crosswise, and you clipped the mentum. How would you fix that?
No.
You don't have
No,
to.
it's, you guys are good. Why don't you need to?
So we need to
Because
see
you don't need the
facial
mandible on the
bones.
skull.
Because mandible's part of a facial bone mass. You're doing a skull, it'll be clipped. And that's acceptable.
That's why in that last worksheet, you had how many, bones were in the skull? And I said 8, because, but you said 22.
That's facial and cranial.
Oh, I can't remember how it
Cranial and
worded.
facial.
It was worded,
It was worded different, where it was like the entire skull. Because skull has 22. If I word, maybe I say skull accidentally, but cranial is 8, facial is 14. I might accidentally said at some point.
so
How many bones are
skull,
contained in
the
the
skull is
skull?
22.
Yeah, it
bones.
When
says
you're talking
skull
about the
as a
lateral
whole.
skull though,
When you
yes,
think
that would just
skull,
be-
you think everything.
yeah, you do, but when you're talking